of the human brain. First of all, our brain is divided into two sides. The left mainly controls our logic and language, while the right controls our imagination and creativity. We can keep dividing it. The main body of our brain is called the cerebrum, and under that is the cerebellum, which controls our coordination and balance, while the brainstem controls our breathing, heart rate, and consciousness. Let's start with the cerebrum. It is consisted of 4 lobes or sections. There's the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is the largest lobe in the cerebrum. It is a CEO overseeing and directing operations. It also plays higher cognitive functions compared to the other 3 lobes, making it the command center. These functions include engaging in decision-making, problem-solving, emotional regulation, motor function, and speech production. The frontal lobe consists of 4 parts: the prefrontal cortex, the orbifrontal cortex, the primary motor cortex, and Broca's area. The prefrontal cortex is mainly about our daily behavior, for example, our social behavior. It also plays an important role in our personalities. On the other hand, the orbifrontal cortex is involved in our decision-making, emotional regulation, and impulse control. Meanwhile, the primary motor cortex commands our movements by sending signals to our muscles. Lastly, Broca's area is the part of our brain which controls our speech production and self-expression. Now let's move on to the next lobe, which is the parietal lobe. We can imagine the parietal lobe as a cartographer processing sensory information to create a detailed map of our surroundings. It is consisted of the primary somatosensory cortex, the superior parietal lobule, and the inferior parietal lobule. The primary somatosensory cortex is at the front of the parietal lobe and helps us feel pain, pressure, and temperature. The superior parietal lobule helps with our attention span and concentration. Meanwhile, the inferior parietal lobule helps with language, math, and logic. Then, let's talk about the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is more like a historian, storing memories and experiences to be recalled over time. It also controls our auditory processing. It is consisted of the primary auditory cortex, the limbic system, a large area with no specific spot, and Wernicke's area. The primary auditory cortex controls hearing. The limbic system, made up of the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the hypothalamus, handles memories and emotions. The hippocampus stores long-term memories, the amygdala processes emotions like fear and aggression, and the hypothalamus regulates hormones, body temperature, heart rate, hunger, and mood. Lastly, Wernicke's area, like Broca's area, controls our speech production. Last but not least, we have the occipital lobe, which is a painter, turning visual stimuli into vibrant, detailed images in our mind. Its only important part is the primary visual cortex. It, like expected, controls the input of signals coming from our pair of eyes. Summary: we have the left and right side of our brain. We have 4 main lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal, and occipital. Also, remember your brain is the powerhouse that makes you you. As former Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos once said, the human brain is an incredible pattern-making machine. He is not wrong. Even a slightest electrical spark in our brain could be a thought, a memory, or an idea. Just don't let it go.